Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Monday morning and I think all of us as Liverpool fans have big smiles on our faces because Liverpool have gone 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League. And today we're going to be taking a look at the game against Southampton because there was loads of contentious decisions and a lot of good goals in it as well. But we need to look at it, we need to analyse it, and that is what we're going to do today. As always, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 2K by the end of the year, and it looks like we should be able to do it, so any support is much appreciated. But let's get into it. So, first things first, the team Slot put out, I think it was the right team. McAllister and Diaz obviously had travelled a lot. He was going to have to pick between Diaz and Nunes of who we wanted to start, and I think he probably thought Diaz could have more impact coming off the bench when a team is tired, a little bit more creative, better on the ball, and that turned out to be true. So it was a really good choice by Slot not to start him. Pick Jones and Szoboszlai in midfield as well. I know Jones has obviously done really well over the international break with England, and Szoboszlai did really well with Hungary as well. So I think that probably was the right choice by Slot. The game as a whole, Liverpool might not have been at their best, but they had 27 shots and 11 on target. And I think if they had have left that game and said, did we deserve to get 3 points? I still think you would have said yes. Like, the goals from Southampton came from Liverpool mistakes more than anything else. And other than that, they didn't really create too much. There's obviously a red card in it with Lallana, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But 27 shots, 11 on target, 62% possession, which we know Liverpool were going to dominate the ball against the team that are bottom of the league at the minute. So I think overall a win was probably deserved, even though Southampton did put it up to us. The one thing with Liverpool that seems to be worrying a lot of fans, and it's understandable, is sometimes we don't lack the same intensity or energy that we've had under Klopp. Now, what we need to realise is this is not Klopp's team. We're not going to have the same type of high press, high energy, and maybe that's what we need right now. We don't want to be going hell for leather, and the thing is it's working. Man City and Arsenal are dropping points continuously right now, and what Liverpool are doing is they're capitalising on those results. Whether we win or lose those games is going to be huge in where we finish at the end of the season. And right now we're winning, which has enabled us to go 8 points ahead of Man City and 9 points ahead of Arsenal. So, moving on to the game itself. And yes, it was a very difficult game from Liverpool's perspective. First thing we need to talk about, and this was before any of the goals, was the Lallana red card. I was doing a watch along, and at the time I didn't really think too much into it, but after seeing the replays, Roy Keane has obviously come out and said that Lallana wasn't in control and he thought it was definitely a red card. I don't know, the still images, when we're looking at it here, the still images do look a lot worse, and I think it was just the ball got away from him. He was coming in at pace, and if he gets a red card off the referee in that instance, I think then he's not going to be overturned, and it would have been a red card. It did look like a rough challenge, but in real time I didn't think it was a red card. And even though we're looking at the still images, and if I go to this next one, we look at this one, I still think that maybe it would have been a bit of a rough red card to receive. I definitely, if I had been a Liverpool player, I think I would have been annoyed. Like the Curtis Jones one from Spurs reminded me a few years ago. Thought that was just like one where they come in to impact. The still images make it look a lot worse than what it is. And Gravenberch got up pretty quickly. So, yeah, I think red card. Listen, if it was Southampton, I would have been really annoyed about it, but I probably thought a yellow card was the right choice in that instance. Moving on to the first goal then. Yeah, it comes from Southampton just being absolutely stupid on the ball. And this is something a lot of people talk about nowadays. Every single team wants to play out from the back, even when they shouldn't do it. And the Pep Guardiola effect is what a lot of people say. But in this case, it works out for Liverpool because it's just stupid for Southampton. But need to circle Curtis Jones here because this is what Curtis Jones is in the team to do, and he's obviously started to improve his ability on the ball, but he's really good at pressing, and similar to Szoboszlai, really good at winning the ball back, and that's exactly what he does here. You can see the ball's coming out, and straight away he's onto the Southampton midfield to try and press and win the ball back. And what he does is, the way he presses is really, really good here, because what he does is he comes around on the right hand side, so he's trying to get them to push back in. He knows Liverpool have the numbers in midfield, and he makes the midfielder push it back. I think it's Fernandes there, the goal scorer from earlier or for later on. He passes the ball back to the centre back, and what Jones does here is really smart, because he knows if the centre back kicks it out, then he's going to be able to block it potentially, or if he kicks it into the middle of the pitch or he gets a miss kick, then what initially is going to happen, and what does happen, is the ball comes out to Szoboszlai on the edge of the box. And then Szoboszlai this season, someone who I give a lot of criticism to, does really, really well here. The ball comes out to him, he's under pressure, he has to take a touch, and then he has a lot of room to work with, but it's still a very, very good finish into the far corner. And something that I think, for me, the frustrating part about Szoboszlai is, we know he has the ability. We've seen it during the international break with Hungary. He has the ability to score wonder goals, and I just want to see more of that from him. We should be expecting more of that from him, for Liverpool's perspective, because he has that in his locker. And he scored some unbelievable goals last year. He scored against Villa, he scored against Leicester in the cup, and they're worldy goals. He just needs to chip in more. It doesn't always have to be an absolutely unbelievable goal. He just needs to chip in a little bit more with the goals, with the assists. Stop us heavily relying on the likes of Salah and Diaz to get all our goals, because he has that ability in his locker, and it was a really, really well taken goal to add to a good performance all around from him. He still does the hard work. He still does the dirty work that we see week in, week out, and one of the reasons why he's in the team a lot of the time. So then we move it on to the penalty, and yeah, this is just Liverpool being sloppy on the ball, and the man who has been unbelievable for Liverpool so far this season. He tries to play football, basically. He comes out, you can see him here coming out, and he's driving into space. And the forward for Southampton, Anachu, I think that's how you say his name, did really well. It was hassling. He had a really good game as well. It was hassling Van Dijk, and we should have learned our lessons, because just before this, Konate had done the exact same thing, gave the ball away trying to come out, and Southampton were able to press us pretty well yesterday. So it's probably the worst performance I've seen so far from Konate and Van Dijk this season. Just a little bit sloppy on the ball. Decision making was a bit poor, but obviously we have the goals there to get us out of these situations. So we move it on then. Van Dijk gets overturned, and straight away Liverpool on the back foot. Diblin is able to pick the ball up, and you can see him here. He's just straight away, his eyes light up. Gravenberch potentially could do a tiny bit better, but by the way the ball falls, Diblin gets across, and he's just already on his bike. And then if we move it along, we see straight away Robertson's in trouble. He's one-on-one. This is a dubious call, to say the least. From one angle, it looks like it's a penalty. From another angle, it looks like it isn't. So if we chop it and change between these two, I think here it looks like a penalty. His foot is on the line, and then Robertson takes him out. And from that angle, it looks like a penalty. But from this one, it doesn't. It looks like he hasn't reached the box yet, and it is outside it. Robertson just takes him out, and his momentum carries him into the box. From what we've seen of VAR so far this season, they're just going to go with the on-field decision. If it's a 50-50 like this, they're not going to overturn it, and that's what happens there. They feel like there's not enough evidence to say that it is a penalty or it isn't, and they just go with what the referee thinks on the pitch. So unlucky, you could say, maybe for Liverpool. If the ref gives a free, then it probably doesn't get overturned. I thought actually in the initial match that if it was outside the box, he might have got a red card, but I think that might have been wrong. I didn't realise Konate was coming around so easily. So he wouldn't have probably got a shot away, and he's probably going away from goal. So yeah, unlucky, but it is what it is, and Armstrong dispatches the penalty, and Liverpool then are 1-1 from a pretty strong position that we had gotten ourselves into from the Southampton mistake. Second half starts then, and you're thinking, you know what, Liverpool have started this game well, and they could potentially go on, get the second goal, see the game out, and then go 8 points here at the top of the league. But it doesn't pan out like that, and just terrible defending again, I think, from Liverpool. They get caught on the counter-attack from Southampton corner, and the keeper actually fumbles the ball here, and Liverpool just don't turn on. Like Van Dijk, Konate, pretty slow to get back. Konate's here in the middle of the pitch, and Van Dijk or Gravenberch here. Van Dijk's not even in picture, he's that far back. But the ball comes out here. We have Konate, Szoboszlai, and Bradley all back, and the three of them just seem to be ball watching in this case. Szoboszlai is doing the pressing. Bradley is obviously shuffling across. He's the last man back. And Konate is ball watching. And that's what happens. So Diblin, who was absolutely exceptional, really, really good performance from him yesterday, he takes a lovely touch, and then he's just right, straight away, I'm into space. Armstrong is on his bike. So we move it on then, and same thing again. Armstrong does really well. Robertson is there defending, is trying to show him back inside, because obviously he doesn't want them going in on goal. And Bradley is coming across, and Konate is coming across. But this a sign of how bad Konate was yesterday, and it's probably one of his worst performances so far this season. He's just ball watching again. We move it on, and like, you can see it. Van Dijk actually gives out to him after the ball goes in, to Kanate, because it was just such poor defending. Like, Kanate's went from middle of the pitch, nowhere, to edge of the box, nowhere, and then when they take the shot, he's still again nowhere. So a really, really poor goal to concede from Liverpool's perspective. We thought we were going to be going from 8 points clear to then keeping it at 5 points, and it looked like we weren't going to be able to maybe get the winners that we needed, the 2 goals. We have a very contentious penalty call, and listen, what is Kelleher doing there, lads? That could have easily been a penalty. And similar to what happened in the first half with the first half penalty, if the ref gives that, I don't think VAR would overturn it. He gives a free out, and because the ref gives a free out, they feel like, okay, he feels that Armstrong maybe wasn't in control of the ball, and that's why he's given the foul out. So VAR don't want to intervene in that case. But I thought Liverpool got very lucky in that case. It could have easily been a penalty to Southampton. So Liverpool 2-1 down then, just after getting away with maybe a possible penalty, and you're looking for someone to step up because time was running out. We needed big impact, and when you have Salah on the pitch, that's what you're going to get. Because how often have we seen Trent Alexander-Arnold in this channel? Trent in this channel looking for the pass. This time it's Gravenberch, and we move it on, and you see Salah running down into the corner, from the corner into the box, and yeah, I don't know what the keeper was doing in this case. It was just really poor. He's obviously come in for Ramsdale, and he's just not lacked the match fitness that you would expect. And Salah's just able to tip in, similar to the goal that he scored against Everton, actually, where keeper comes out, he's in no man's land, and Salah just tips it around him and then goes into the box. We've seen it so many times with Trent and Mo, where they have that combination. This time it's Gravenberch and Salah tucks it away to get us 2-2. And from there, you're thinking Liverpool are going to go on and win this game, and that is exactly what they do. We can talk about this, I'd say, for 2 seconds, because it's a absolute stonewall penalty. You're not going to see many more penalties. It's just a bit of a head rush. I think Robertson's behind him, and he's just worrying that he's going to be able to get in on goal, but the ball bounces up, unfortunately, onto his arm. He then palms it a tiny bit, and the referee straight way points to the penalty spot, which is 100% the penalty in everyone's eyes. I don't think there was too many people appealing. Even the Southampton players were saying, yeah, it's a penalty. Salah then dispatches the penalty. Liverpool go on, win the game 3-2, and the form that man is in right now, he wasn't even that good in the game. I know he's going to get man of the match because he scored the 2 goals to get Liverpool the winner. He wasn't heavily involved in the game, but the minute the ball is coming into these dangerous areas, the minute Liverpool needs someone to impact the game, that is where he is. We've seen him score the goal against Brighton to get us 2-1 over the line. We've seen him score against Aston Villa to wrap up the game, to make it 2-0. Liverpool, for me, right now, 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and potentially going 11 points clear if they beat Man City next week. And I think 11 points at that stage, December, and maybe leading up to Christmas, if they can extend that even more, but the way Man City are playing, I think Arsenal are going to be the real challengers, because if they can get a run together, Odegaard's coming back into the team now. They looked good against Forest when I watched it. The thing is with Arsenal is they're going to have so much pressure in every single game, and that any drop points from now until the end of the season is just going to be monumental, because Liverpool could drop points. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool could drop points. Say if Liverpool, I don't know, say they beat Man City next week, go 11 points clear, still 9 ahead of Arsenal. If Arsenal drop points next weekend away to West Ham, then they're 10, 11 points as well behind us. Do you know what I mean? It's just those kind of swings for Arsenal is just going to be huge. And I do think they will drop points from now until the end of the season. I don't think they won't. I think Liverpool will as well. But the thing is with Arsenal, it's just going to be so much harder for them to do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are Liverpool going to go on and win the Premier League? 8 points ahead of Man City now. Are they going to win next week against Man City to go 11 points? It is a very, very good time to be a Liverpool fan. Going into the game against Real Madrid and Man City, we should be very confident. But yeah, it was a very good weekend indeed.